Hello and welcome to the information session this afternoon on the ABA program. And so we're so excited. Kathleen Cook and I are so excited to be talking to you this afternoon about the program that is launching in the fall of 2022. We'll tell you about the program, how it came to be, the clinical and how that'll work, and all of those things are in the information session. We want to make sure that you have time to ask questions as well. So I'm Laurie Daly, and I serve as the Dean of the School of Education and the Director of Graduate and Continuing Ed here at Augie. And Kathleen, I'll have you introduce yourself.
So I am Kathleen Cook. I am on the faculty here in the School of Education, Augustana. This is my 7th year. And since I've been here, as I entered Augustana, I came in to develop this ABA program that we're finally excited to bring to you. I'm also a BCBA at the doctoral level. So I'd also like to have Jessica and Tisha say hello as well. So would you like to jump in?
Sure. I'll start. My name is Jessica Rydberg. I am a BCBA for Hope Group Clinical based out of Phoenix, Arizona. And I am the quality coordinator for Hope Group, and I work extensively with the supervision program. So we have an internal supervision program, and we're also working with Augustana to launch the supervision program that aligns with their coursework. I'm really excited to be here and really excited to work with all of you. So nice to meet you.
Welcome, Jessica.
Okay, perfect. Well, I wanted to say thank you to everyone for the patience on waiting for me to join. I was in the middle of training some supervisees, and by George, I get invested. So my name is Tisha Denton. I'm the Executive Clinical Director of Hope Group Clinical. I am also a board certified behavior analyst and licensed behavior analyst in the state of Arizona. I have an expertise really in the field of ethics, also in severe and complex behavior reduction. In Arizona, I serve in a regulatory fashion. So I serve on the Arizona Board of Psychologist Examiners to ensure that the behavior analysts in the state of Arizona are practicing ethically, not just according to the BACB or the Behavior Analyst Certification Board, but also in accordance with state law, rules, and statutes. So I enjoy supervision immensely to ensure that we're building up the best base of future BCBAs that we possibly can. So the supervision curriculum that we have developed to go in line with Augie is such that you really do get that experience to ensure that it's lined up so that you have that fully immersed experience. So I am excited to chat with you all today, and that's a little bit of a background for me.
Thank you so much, Tisha. Thank you, Jessica. You can actually go to the next slide. So usually what I would tell people, who didn't know much about Augie, and I know a number of you who have joined us as prospective students or people who have been accepted to the program already know that Augustana is in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and that we have a physical campus in addition to having online programming in our MED and special ed programs. So just wanted you to be able to see the campus. So why Augustana? So we were focused, as Kathleen and I were working on the development of this program, we were looking at several different things. One of those was affordability, making sure that we were designing a program that it was accessible for people. In addition, we wanted to really focus on having practicum or supervised clinical experiences that were aligned with coursework. And we already know in our MED and MED special ed programs that we have supportive faculty. We have a cohort model in the MED program that's been running online as an online program since 2010. So we have small groups of students, usually 15 to 18 students who are going through any of our given programs at one time. So you really get a chance to get to know each other in the process as well. In addition, we're really focused on having relevant curriculum for today's educators and people who are serving in a variety of settings that utilize ABA. And in addition, we do have a legacy of excellence in online graduate education, like I said, since 2010. So I'm going to defer to Kathleen, who's going to talk to you about more specifics with regard to the ABA program.
All right, so prospective students will learn very quickly that we are guided by the Behavior and Analytic Certification Board, the BACB, for developing our coursework. There's another organization called the Association of Behavior Analysts International, ABAI, that actually will vet our courses and give us the stamp of approval that we are a verified course sequence. And so in order for students to emerge from this program and be eligible to take their BCBA exam, they will need their graduate degree, a specific set of coursework from ABAI, and also supervised practical field work in applied behavior analysis. And this is why we are so delighted to have our partners on board and that are here today to talk to you about the supervision piece that they will provide as part of the program. So when you emerge from the program, you'll have all three components. And so those of you that would like to go on, and most, I think the vast majority of you will, to take the BCBA exam, you'll be ready to do that when you complete the program. So some students already have a master's degree or have other graduate credits, and they are interested in potentially transferring credits in. And because our program, just as we just talked about, is specifically developed to give you those three components that you're required to have for eligibility for the BCBA exam, we are not accepting any transfer credits. We give you exactly what you need and keep you relevant and up on the latest requirements so that you walk out with eligibility for your exam. So yeah, Laurie, this is for you. Yes.
Absolutely. So in this slide, you're actually looking at a plan of study, and we have the plans of study posted on our website. We have the fall 2022 plan of study up, as well as spring of 2023. We're hoping to launch a cohort, one in the fall and one in the spring, again, of 15 to 18 students. So the thing that I wanted to point out to you on this plan of study is that you'll see that it's organized into the fall 2022 semester, and there's first half and second half classes. That's because all of our classes are 7-week classes. And so people take those just one at a time. So even though you're taking 2 in the fall, it's only one at a time. So there's a first half class, a second half class, and at Augie, we have J-term, and we have no graduate courses offered during J-term. So our spring semester doesn't pick back up until the beginning of February. And then you'll see spring operates the same way, having a class in the first half and the second half. And then in the summer, we have one summer term that's delivered across 8 weeks. So it's still a 7-week class delivered across 8 weeks so that you can have a break around the week of 4th of July. And then you see the final semester, the 4th semester is fall with first half and second half classes. So that's a little bit about the classes. And then underneath that, you'll see that the clinical experiences span more than one term or part of a term. And that's because we've basically designed a 16-month program. So those 4 semesters are completed in 16 months, but the 1,500-hour supervised field experience is actually completed in 3 5-month chunks. So that's what you're seeing underneath there is the clinical experiences that are aligned to the coursework that you're taking at that time. So you'll see clinical experiences 1, 2, and 3 with the dates that span. One of the things that is not obvious as you look at this plan of study, but that I'll tell you about is that the 5-month experience for the first semester when you start doesn't actually begin till you're a month into your classes. So it's a 5-month and it's really 6 months that are represented on that coursework there. Tisha.
I'm up to bat. Absolutely. So as we talk about those 3 practica that go across the board, Hope Group Clinical has really partnered with Augie to make sure that we are providing several different options here to see where people fit. You know, it looks like some of you are working in a school or a clinic-based setting. We understand that some people work out in the home. So having a few different options here to make sure that you are able to move through the supervised experience portion are available. So on this document, you will see options 1, 2, and 3. Option 1 means that you will receive 100% of what you need to complete your 1,500-hour experience through Hope Group Clinical. So here it will say that for the individual supervision component that you see on the left, for the group supervision, the external BCBA supervisor support, like how much is needed from a BCBA who is within your organization, and paperwork responsibilities. So in option 1, you can look through this. I believe this is live on Augie's site right now. Is that right, Laurie?
Yes.
It
So
is.
you can dig through this and you can see that, but ultimately what you need to know for option number 1 is 100% of what you would need will be provided by Hope Group Clinical. In option number 2, this is where we partner with another organization. So if you have a BCBA who is already within your school or your agency and they want to be an active participant in your supervision program, we will still put you through the curriculum that we have, all of the course requirements to go through that practica option. However, we will include the BCBA at your site. We will cross-train with them. They will be a part of your graduate program. So that is one option here where perhaps you've got a BCBA, but they don't have the entire ability to go to option number 3, which is that only group supervision and the mentee review committee comes from a BCBA at Hope Group Clinical. So option number 3 means you are already at a clinic. You have a BCBA who is deeply invested in your experience. If we have someone who already has a stout supervision experience at another agency, what we do then is we train those BCBAs to implement the curriculum and we assess competency. You know, we have you come back to us for the mentee review committee, which is where you come in once a month. And we ask you the questions to see if your skills are generalizing. So overall, you've got 3 options. Each one has the responsibilities that are within that specific option. But these are a few of the options that you have if you come through the program and you are looking for that practicum option. You know, which one is going to fit your lifestyle, which one is going to fit your employment right now. So if there are any questions about those, I'm not sure where the question period will be, but this is available on Augie's site.
And if you go to the next page, there's a little bit more.
Yeah, so here on options 1, 2, and 3, since this is a remote program, one that is digital, right? There are a couple of different expectations for technology that's needed. You'll see here that for online camera, what I highly recommend is the swivel mount. It's all there. That's approximately $850. So if you have student loans that could cover that, it's amazing. Like if you look it up, you'll be blown away, particularly those of you who are teachers and had to go through COVID where everyone was remote. Like it'll blow your mind if you haven't seen it. I promise. However, it is expensive. So there are some other options on there, such as like the Pivo Pod Active with a remote that's $140. There is an Ozbot hand tilt zoom camera that's around $200. Specifically, the first one up there would be a really good choice for a special educator in a school system without an in-house BCBA to support field experiences. So you can look through those. The swivel mount, essentially, let me break it down for you. You wear like a key fob, and wherever you walk, your robot follows you. You can walk in a whole 360-degree circle. It follows you. It's the coolest thing since sliced bread, guys. It's really amazing. However, you know, they charge you for that. Whenever you get into option 2 and 3, the technology requirement really is a computer with a webcam and a microphone. You know, we don't have to follow you and do those synchronous type of observations. Most likely, your BCBA on ground would be doing that for options 2 and 3.
Thank you, Tisha.
So those are the extra pieces there. You'll also notice like the additional notes for those of you who are up to speed on the BACB requirements. 2,000 hours is now in place for the coursework and the experience that you have to go through. unless you're going through an intensive practicum experience, which is what Augie is offering, which is what we are overseeing. So it does come along with those higher expectations of 10% supervision of at least 100 hours per month. Keep in mind that the practicum tuition remains the same across every single option because it incorporates that curriculum that is being either trained upon or delivered by Hope Group Clinical.
All right, so it is really easy to apply. Those of you that have already applied, you will hopefully agree with me. So, but basically it's just 1, 2, 3. You need to have your basic account with Augustana. There are specific documents that you will submit along with contact information for someone that you work for or work with that can attest to your employment in a behavior related setting. And then your official transcripts need to get mailed to Augustana from your undergrad university, plus any other additional transcripts you have from graduate work. All of that goes directly to Augustana. So that's right here for you. It's also available on our website. The application process, fall cohorts begin in late August. So we are expecting all applications in by August 19th. We actually expect to have our first cohort full by then. So those who would apply after that cohort is actually full, we will give them the option of waiting until spring and starting in February. But the latest we can accept applications is August 19th for fall and January 20th for February. And again, really important that students must maintain employment in a behavior related setting. This is because this is where you will accrue your experience hours in your clinical practica. So if anything changes, you just need to notify me right away so that we can make a plan and get you back into a setting that you can accrue hours. And then the tuition, we're really competitive looking at the different universities in the South Dakota area. Tuition and fees for coursework, the complete cost is just a little over $10,000, and that's for the next 2 cohorts for sure. That's in place. The program fees that go to your field experiences go directly to Hope Group. That's another $5,100, which is actually if you're paying for supervision privately, which a lot of smaller universities have their students do who are taking their ABA programs, it's quite a bit more expensive than this. So this is a great cost savings for all of you. Payments are split across terms. So of course, that's not all due up front. Augustana does have payment plans available and financial aid. And those of you who have graduated from Augustana do have an Augustana Alumni Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 that is comes off your cost of tuition over, Laurie, you can jump in, over a couple of semesters, I think.
It is, I think
Yeah.
the first couple of terms.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so with the tuition for the Hope Group Clinical, that $5,100, that's paid basically $1,700 at a time. So you're paying that to Hope Group as you go for 3 of the semesters.
This brings us up to the additional questions part. If anybody would like to take a screenshot or just a picture of our screen right now for this information, you're welcome to do it. And I'm about to actually, or I'm going to ask Jessica to take the PowerPoint down so we can see your faces and answer any questions you might have. Thank you, Jessica. All right, so let's just open it up. As you have questions, jump in and we'll take a few minutes to answer your questions.
So I have a question about like next summer, the like clinical stuff, like, so the setting that I'm working in, I would get some of those hours, but then like we're not in school in the summer. So how would we get those hours after school is out?
So I'll jump in and then I want Jessica and Tisha as well. So we've talked about this. Some of the hours that you can accrue don't necessarily have to, some of them cannot be direct services. They have to be other things such as pulling up research articles, developing plans, analyzing data. But we've also talked about there may be specific things to work on where you would want to have direct contact. So if you're not providing extended school year services, then we're going to give you connections with local ABA companies who we have plenty here in South Dakota, and we have connections with other companies across the United States that you could go in and volunteer some time and have access to students just for a few hours a week. I think we had estimated, Jessica and Tisha, you'll have to jump in, maybe 10 hours a week.
Okay.
Would be all you would need. And that might be on the high end of actually direct contact during those months.
Thank you.
Do you have something else to add, Jessica or Tisha? No? Okay, very good. Thank you, Maddie. Other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. This pertains more to like the vision. If you were to choose like the first one where Hope Group is supervising you 100%, or if you're choosing the second one where they're doing like partial with an in-house BCBA. So what time frame would you like be on a Zoom call with like the Hope Group? Is that up to you and the person that you're speaking to, or is there going to be like a set time every day? I'm just curious, like with working and everything, what times those will be.
Yeah, definitely. So we work out where we have some set time slots. So for each student who is going through that experience needing to meet up with Hope Group Clinical for that supervision component, we have something called the Mentee Review Committee, where you come in and you demonstrate competencies at least once a month, and that time is set exactly the same for every single month. You know, for example, we would have a list. Let's say we had 15 students in the cohort. Then we would have 15 different time slots because those are individual appointments. And that would remain the same for each month. So let's say it was the second Tuesday of every month. Maybe it was the last Thursday of every month. So those times are set out already, and then they are selected in first come, first serve order of the semester, whoever picks those. The Think Aloud procedure would be the same time every month. And then with that, there's just no wiggle room with that. So the Think Aloud procedure is part of your group supervision.
Okay.
And that group supervision has test preparation. So we want to prepare you to take the BACB exam. And those times are set.
Okay. And then for like the group supervision where we're with like other like supervisees, is that going to be students that are in Augustana's cohort, or is that going to be students that may be like anywhere that are taking supervision from Hope Group?
It's all Augie.
Okay, perfect.
Absolutely.
Josie, I think that's a super exciting part of it, is that you'll get to really know the other students in your group really well, because you'll be together for the entire part of the program. So you'll have a group that you'll get to know really well.
Yes, I was hoping that it was going to be other students.
Absolutely.
For
Good deal. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, also, okay, I have one more question. Sorry, I'm full of questions. I'm sure I'll think of more. Can we exceed, I know for concentrated hours, we cannot exceed 120 hours a month, but can we exceed more than 100 that you guys have like planned for us up to the 120?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And unless I'm just absolutely wrong, I thought it was 130. So you might even have an extra 30 hours.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. I could be wrong too. I know it's somewhere in there, but.
No, it's okay. I mean, they're updating things pretty regularly, so I'm not going to say that you don't know more than me in that regard, but as long as it is 100 to 130 hours, we should be just fine accommodating that.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Just know too that there's kind of a built-in window because we don't have courses over J term. It means that you've also got a little built-in window to do some catching up with hours too. So thought that was important to let you know.
These are great questions. Who else has a question?
So I'm going to kind of go back to the meetings that we have. So I'm a soccer coach. I'm the head coach of a high school here in town. And so like they're my responsibility of like a game or something. And so like, how does that work if like the meetings are that night of a game, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how does that work of if I can't miss because they're under my supervision at that time, you know, like how does that work? If meetings are those mandatory times, you know?
So Taylor,
what I would say.
you and I talked briefly about this. Tell us everybody's those months that you are having to coach, because I think that also might help Tisha respond to your question. Yeah.
Yeah, so my season is August through mid-October. So it's a very short season, but within that season, it is very intense of like, we have like 3 games, maybe like 2 to 3 games a week, and then practice every other day. And so yeah, it's a very short season, but very intense.
Well, you'd only have a couple of weeks then. I see how Kathleen was like, answer that one. Because the supervision experience, those hours begin on October 1st. So whenever we are talking about that, you just have a couple of weeks there that would be challenging. But even then, what I would recommend is you are one of the first people to the bat selecting your times. There will be a variety of times that are available, one for each student whenever you come in. And I would recommend for those first couple of weeks, you do your very best to select a time that is available. The times do range on there because we can't do everybody at once. So with that, there are some in the morning, there are some in the afternoons. Jessica is in New Hampshire, and she operates on Eastern time. I'm in Arizona, I operate on Arizona time. I believe most of you are from South Dakota. So we've got a wide variety of times that are available for working students. I also went through my coursework while I worked full-time, 40 hours a week, and I get it. I promise I get it.
Also, another benefit for you is that for the Mentee Review Committee meetings, which is when we assess your competency, and those are the meetings that Tisha was talking about that are scheduled where everybody would be signing up, those are at the end of the month. So if you're not, if you're finishing in mid-October, that shouldn't really interfere too much. I would still strongly recommend that you go in and choose a time that would work best with your schedule earlier rather than later, but that hopefully will help a little bit too. And the Think Alouds, we're still working out exactly when those are going to be, but they're absolutely not going to be right when you start. We want to give you some time to get into the curriculum and get started. So my feeling is it will likely be towards the middle of the month as well, which would hopefully hit right about the end of when your season is finishing up.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Excellent.
Well, I want to honor people's time and thank you so much for coming and attending and learning more about the ABA program. We're so excited to be partnering with Hope Group Clinical. They have the clinical piece. They've been offering clinical supervision for more than 20 years out of Hope Group. And I know that Tisha herself was very much involved with developing the supervision curriculum. It's impressive once you get a chance to see it. It is really impressive. And so it's very much aligned with Augie's core values of excellence and community and service. And we just love that we're going to be able to launch this partnership, this program in partnership with the Hope Group Clinical.
And we are very excited to have the opportunity to really do something that I think is groundbreaking. There are many, many programs that are out there that you work through your coursework. I have a few of my interns here at my agency that are going through different universities, and their coursework is happening all at the same time that they're accruing their experience hours. And they're like, well, I haven't covered this in my coursework yet. I don't really know what I'm doing. Or vice versa, like, whoa, you're going way too fast. And it's just not aligned. And having that alignment through Augie, I don't know of another program who's doing it. So I really think it is groundbreaking that you will learn a concept in your coursework and then you will apply it. You will have that wraparound support to where it's not just learning online and then you never get to feel it, to make it tangible, to touch it. Instead, this coursework has been specifically designed. This partnership is designed to help you guys really learn the concept, apply the concept, gain competency, then move to the next. So I am very excited about it, and I'm really hopeful that we will be producing some really amazing BCBAs to join our ranks.
Thank you. I'm right there with you all. Okay, so you can go to augie.edu/EBA for more information. And everybody on this actual teleconference, send me an email if you have questions. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.